a journalist turned activist and later a political leader who continues to make a mark on South Africa's democratic landscape. Her life reflects the tension and turbulence of a country moving from oppression to democratic governance. She has been praised as a fearless fighter for freedom and democracy, and criticized as a controversial, polarizing figure in South Africa's modern politics. This is the story of Helen Zille, a journalist, activist, politician, and others would argue, colonial apologist. Helen Zille was born on 9 March 1951 in Johannesburg, South Africa. Her parents were German immigrants who had fled the horrors of Nazi Germany. This background, particularly her Jewish heritage and her parents' escape from fascism, gave her an acute awareness of injustice from an early age. She grew up in a South Africa defined by segregation and oppression enforced by law. Like many white South Africans at the time, she initially benefited from the privileges the system afforded, but unlike many of her peers, she questioned the injustice at its core. Helen studied at Wits University, where her political consciousness deepened. She became involved in student politics and debates, shaping her early awareness of South Africa's racial and political inequalities. Helen began her professional career as a journalist at the Rand Daily Mail, one of the few liberal newspapers that challenged apartheid narratives. The newspaper was operational from 1902 to 1985. In 1977, she played a defining role in exposing the truth about the death of Steve Biko, the leader of the Black Consciousness movement. The apartheid government claimed that Biko had died from a hunger strike while in police custody, but Helen's investigations, based on testimony from medical professionals and sources close to the case, revealed that Biko had suffered severe head injuries inflicted during police interrogation. Her expose was a turning point. It shattered the official propaganda and brought international attention to the brutality of the apartheid regime. This was one of Helen's earliest acts of activism, using her pen as a weapon against systematic injustice. But it came at a price. Zille faced harassment, censorship, and threats, yet she remained determined, committed to truth-telling at a time when silence was safer. Beyond journalism, Zille increasingly stepped into the realm of activism. She joined organizations that pushed for political reform, including groups that worked for equal education and democratic freedoms. She was involved in the Open Society Foundation and civic movements that supported non-racialism and inclusive governance. Her work connected her with anti-apartheid activists across racial lines. This phase marked a gradual transition from journalist to political activist, someone who not only documented injustice but actively fought to dismantle it. In the early 1990s, as apartheid crumbled, South Africa transitioned to democracy. Zille joined the Democratic Party, the predecessor of today's Democratic Alliance, the DA. The DP was small, liberal, and positioned as an alternative to both the National Party and the African National Congress, ANC. It advocated constitutionalism, non-racialism, and human rights, values Zille strongly supported. Her leadership abilities quickly became evident. By the late 1990s, she was working as a policy director for the DA, shaping the party's position on key national issues. Her reputation grew as a strong communicator, strategist, and tireless campaigner.
The DA loves South Africa. We love our people in all their glorious diversity. They are our inspiration. They are our hope. We love the Constitution. The Constitution which binds us to one another after so much division and despair. We love the land itself, the winelands of the Cape, the haunting horizons of the Karoo, the Highveld after a thunderstorm, the majesty of the Drakensberg. The DA will not let down the land that we love. We will never give up our dream for the Rainbow people. We will go from this place and campaign every day and every night.
Helen's breakthrough into executive politics came in 2006, when she was elected Mayor of Cape Town. Her tenure was marked by efforts to improve service delivery, fight corruption, and enhance governance in the city. She promoted efficiency, transparency, and development, which earned her recognition both locally and internationally. In fact, in 2008 she was named the World Mayor of the Year by City Mayors Foundation, an acknowledgement of her innovative leadership. This success established her as one of the most prominent opposition leaders in South Africa. In 2007, Helen became the leader of the Democratic Alliance. Under her leadership, the DA grew dramatically, both in support and influence. She positioned the party as the official opposition to the ANC, appealing not only to its traditional white liberal base, but also to a more diverse constituency. Zille's strategy emphasized good governance, accountability, and the fight against corruption. She argued that South Africa needed a strong alternative to the ANC to keep democracy healthy and functional. In 2009 general elections, the DA won control of the Western Cape province, a historic achievement. Zille herself became Premier of the Western Cape, a position she held for 2 terms. As Premier, Helen advocated for education reform, infrastructure development, and clean governance. The Western Cape under her leadership often ranked highest in terms of provincial governance, financial management, and service delivery. However, her leadership style, often described as direct, uncompromising, and even abrasive, drew criticism. She was praised for efficiency, but accused of being authoritarian at times. Nonetheless, her tenure as Premier consolidated the DA's dominance in the Western Cape, making it the only province consistently governed by an opposition party.
Its lowest unemployment rate, at a full 14 percentage points below the national average on the expanded definition. Over the last 10 years, we've spent 171 billion rand on education, skills, and social opportunities for young people. During this term, we connected over 80% of schools to free internet, refreshed 1,160 computer laboratories, delivered over 28,800 devices, created an online portal with 11,000 learning resources, and trained 70% of teachers in e-learning techniques. Since 2009, we have delivered 212,967 housing opportunities across the Western Cape. We are also placing a particular emphasis on property ownership as a pathway out of poverty. Since 2009, 103,000 people have received title deeds across the Western Cape. Life expectancy in the Western Cape, overall, is the highest in the country, supported by a functional public health care system facing enormous strain. And Speaker,
no story of Helen Zille is complete without acknowledging the controversies that surround her career. The Public Protector found that Helen Zille had violated the executive member's ethics code by using her position as Premier to help her son, Paul Marie, secure 150 tablets from the Department of Education. She was often criticized for comments on social media, including a 2017 tweet about colonialism. in which she argued that not all aspects of colonialism were negative. This sparked outrage and disciplinary action within the party. Critics accused her of being racially insensitive and undermining the DA's attempts to build credibility among black South Africans. Yet, her supporters defended her as someone unafraid to speak uncomfortable truths, even at personal and political cost. Her career illustrates the complexities of South Africa's post-apartheid politics, balancing liberal ideals, non-racialism, and the deep wounds of historical injustice. Though Zille stepped down as DA leader in 2015, she remained active in politics and public debate. After undesirable election results and tensions between the then party leader Mmusi Maimane and the broader leadership of the DA, in 2019 she was elected Federal Council Chair of the DA, returning to a powerful position within the party. Even in her later career, Zille remained a sharp political thinker, commentator and strategist, still shaping debates around governance, democracy and South Africa's future.
Prof, a very good evening to you and thanks for your time. Is this all the work of Helen Zille working behind the scenes?
Well, greetings to you and the listeners. Yes, some would say she worked hard and she succeeded possibly with the think tank, or so-called think tank, the Institute for Race Relations. But is what she got today exactly what she bargained for? Is it what the think tank anticipated? I do not think so. She has done a wonderful job as a journalist. She has done a wonderful job as a patriot. She did a wonderful job as a leader and built a very formidable blue wave that really tried to engender accountability in politics. For that I credit her as well as the DA. But I think, just like many African leaders, she didn't know when to step down.
Helen Zille's legacy is complex and contested. On one hand, she is the journalist who exposed the truth about Steve Biko's death, the activist who fought apartheid, and the political leader who built the Democratic Alliance into a formidable force in South African politics. On the other hand, she is remembered for the controversies that raised questions about race, privilege, reconciliation in post-apartheid South Africa. Yet, whether praised or criticized, few can deny that Helen has been one of the most influential political figures in democratic South Africa. Helen's journey reminds us that democracy is never simple and leadership never uncontested. She has been both an agent of progress and a lightning rod for controversy. Her story is not just about one woman, but about South Africa itself, its struggles, contradictions, and ongoing search for justice and equality.